Have you ever swallowed your feelings just to keep the peace? Have you ever smiled while your heart screamed silently inside? We do this thinking silence will protect us, but it only builds a storm inside. This story will show you why speaking your truth can save not just your heart, but your soul. In a quiet valley surrounded by misty hills lived a young woman named Mira. She was known for her calm smile, gentle, polite, and always agreeable. People liked her because she never argued, never complained, never said no. But inside, Mira carried 1,000 unspoken words, like trapped birds beating their wings, desperate to fly. Her small village was full of people who valued peace over truth. Don't say too much, her mother always told her. It's better to stay quiet. And so, Mira learned to hide her pain behind a calm face. Every time someone hurt her, Mira smiled and said, "It's fine." When her friends ignored her, she pretended not to notice. When her boss blamed her for something she didn't do, she stayed silent. She told herself, "It's okay." Words only make things worse. But deep down, her silence began to hurt more than anyone's words ever could. She stopped sleeping well. Her chest always felt heavy, like a rock she couldn't lift. At night, she would stare at the ceiling, whispering, "Why can't I just say what I feel?" The silence became her prison. And every day, that prison grew smaller. One evening, after another long day of pretending everything was fine, Mira walked by the river. The sun was setting, painting the water in orange and gold, but she couldn't feel its beauty. Her eyes filled with tears. Suddenly, she saw a small boy standing near the edge, throwing stones into the water. He looked upset. Mira asked softly, "Why are you crying?" The boy sniffled. "I told my father I was scared to swim, and he yelled at me. He said I should stay silent and stop being weak." Mira knelt beside him, heart aching. She said, "You were brave to tell him. Feelings aren't weakness, they're truth." The boy looked at her confused. "Then why are you crying too?" Mira froze. For the first time, someone saw her pain, and she realized she had become the same kind of silence she hated. That night, she finally broke down. She wrote in her old diary, pages and pages of words she had never said aloud. All the anger, the sadness, the loneliness, everything she'd buried came pouring out. She cried until her tears turned into peace. And in that moment, Mira made herself a promise. "I will never silence my feelings again." The next morning, Mira felt something she hadn't felt in years: lightness. The sky looked brighter, the air smelled fresher. It was as if the valley itself had been holding its breath with her. And finally exhaled. She started small. When her co-worker interrupted her in a meeting, she said gently, "Please let me finish." Her hands trembled, but her voice didn't break. When her friend made a hurtful joke, she said calmly, "That really hurt me." And when her mother scolded her for speaking up, Mira smiled and replied, "I'm not being rude, Ma. I'm just being honest." At first, people were surprised. Some even called her changed. But soon, something beautiful happened. They began to respect her more. Her quietness had made her invisible, but her truth made her seen. Months later, she was promoted at work. Her voice, once silent, had become her strength. And every time she spoke, she imagined those trapped birds inside her finally flying free across the valley sky. Your feelings are not a burden. They are your truth, your compass, your wings. When you silence them, you shrink your soul. When you speak them, you heal. Not just yourself, but others too. Remember this: silence may keep you safe, but truth will set you free. Speak your pain. Speak your dreams. Speak your truth, even if your voice trembles, because sometimes the most courageous thing you can do is simply say how you feel. If Mira's story touched your heart, share it with someone who needs to hear this today. You never know whose silence hides a storm. Let's help more hearts find their voice. Subscribe to Eliza Bethell's Tales, where every story helps you heal, grow, and rediscover your strength. Because your feelings matter, and your voice deserves to be heard.